This is just a short clip to talk about building and organizing reasons, which is another place where several people struggled on their timed argument essay. For this example, I'm going to use the prompt from Bell 3, which talked about how the average man does not want to be free. He simply wants to be safe. And you were supposed to argue how that applies to contemporary society. So I'm going to argue that it's very true. I'm going to specify it by talking about how it's especially true in education. And that's the way I'm going to tie it to contemporary society and just to make my claim a little more clear. So I'm going to give you 3 tips. I think the first one is to actually write your reason out as a mini claim. So you would want something that might sound like this. Modern learners prefer to consume rather than choose. That's a clear, specific reason why my thesis that Mencken is right is true. Instead, I still see a lot of one-bulleted lists or no outlining, and I think you know who you are if that's you. So we got to get past that and work. I think almost something more like this, where I've got my initial gut response, then I'm going to start bulleting out almost these mini claims. These aren't fully framed sentences yet, but they're getting closer. Okay. I think some people are still listing their evidence as their trail of logic. I'm going to talk about, some movie. I'm going to talk about something else. But you've got to have these reasons in place first, then the evidence, which was in the other clip I talked about. Second, if you're stuck for thinking about reasons, I think the questions to ask are how, why, or to what extent is your thesis true? So if I'm going to come back again, it's very true, especially in education. Why is it true in education? Or how is it true? When? Where? Right? Those are the things that help me figure out what should be plugged into these reasons. Okay? And I think that's a step. This step is one that many people are skipping. They're just going, my thesis is true. And it's true here, and it's true here, and it's true here. But never digging into how or why or when. And I think that's a step that can really help improve your overall argument. Last tip is to organize those reasons. Okay? Again, we've talked about this. The psychology of the argument should go from weakest to strongest point. Within there, you still have lots of ways you can shape it, right? Maybe you think about scope, and you want to go from small to big. So if I'm going to do education, I might start with at the student level. Maybe I go to schools, and then maybe I go to like our national system and what like education looks like in America. Maybe I think about time, and I move from past to present and how schools used to be versus now. I could even compare and contrast. Lastly, you might think about different areas, okay? You might focus on the politics or the sports or the science. In this case, I could do that for the school, and if I was going to do the Bell 1 prompt about doubt and certainty, this might be a good place to show how those things intersect in these different arenas and different areas. But if you can organize those reasons, okay, and this comes back to these things we've talked about, that trail of logic, the psychology of an argument, shaping it, okay, so if you can organize them after you've figured out the how, why, and the what, and you've written them as many claims, all 3 of these things will really clean up the reasoning piece for many of you. Add that to the evidence, and then you've got a lot you can work with. You're probably at the 7 if you've got all those things in place cleanly. Then it becomes a matter of style, which we'll continue to work on throughout the year.